Howdy everybody, and welcome back to World of Warships with Bogatir. I know it's been quite a long time since anything has been put up on the channel, so I decided to just go ahead and make a video and throw it up. And you know what? What better to show you than one of my best games in my Scharnhorst? And really, there are no bad games in a Scharnhorst. The Scharnhorst is one of those ships that really, no matter what happens, up-tiered, bottom-tiered, wherever you're at, you're going to have a good game. It's going to be fun. And this game is especially fun because we are top tier, and not just top tier in a tier 7 and tier 6 game. This is a tier 7, tier 6, and tier 5 game. Now, matchmaking, being top tier is good matchmaking for any ship, but the Scharnhorst in particular is a monster because at tier 7, I mean, I almost feel bad about saying this, but there's not a whole lot a tier 5 ship can do against a Scharnhorst. You can't. That heavy armor, the rapid firing guns, you're just up a creek. Now, that doesn't mean that the Scharnhorst can be played like a battleship, that you can be kind of an idiot in it. You still got to play smart, because the Scharnhorst is not a battleship. If you've seen my review, and I highly recommend that you do, I go over exactly why the Scharnhorst can't deal with enemy battleships at long range. Thin deck, no solid athwartship's bulkhead, the bow plating isn't that thick, and as a consequence, at long range, enemy battleships will just punish you. So, you take the Scharnhorst in close. And Haven is a fantastic map for that. I kind of go back and forth on Haven because there have been nights where I've played on this map 6 times in a row, and it's awful. But then sometimes when you just have it 1 or 2 times, you can really appreciate it. You can especially appreciate it if you're in the right ship, like the Scharnhorst, because it gives you that cover to let you get in close and do what the Scharnhorst does best: eat enemy ships. Now, as you can see, I'm posting up here at the back, trying to get a feel for where everybody's going and what's going on, because I don't need to dive in right off the bat. There's no point. I just need to see what's happening and see where the best place for me to go is going to be. Right now, a lot of our team seems to be heading towards the sea point or the north side of the map, and as a consequence, I'm going to have to share targets. And I'm in my Scharnhorst. I don't want to share. So right up there, we can see the enemy Nelson, Perth, Omaha. There was another Omaha spotted over there. Yes, the enemy team has 2 of those unfortunate ships. And oh, look at this. A Koenig having an identity problem, wearing the patriotic American camouflage while being German. Well, whatever. Bully for him. So he's taking some speculative shots, but I'm staying unspotted and just letting us see how it's going to go. So, deciding to get into the battle, we spot the New York, and I take my first shots. I actually let that New York slide behind the island so that when I do take the shots, I stay unspotted. Oh, enemy Atlanta. This has to die. I hate Atlantas. Mostly because I don't own one yet, and that's one of those, if I can ever find the money, I'm going to spend another $40 on Pixel Warships and buy myself an Atlanta, because it's another one of those bizarre ships with just a different play style. But when I'm not in the Atlanta, it is horrible. Oh, there we go. I honestly don't know what that guy was thinking. The Atlanta needs to be posted up behind an island, firing over it, raining high explosive down, and just torching everybody. Sailing out like that, oof. I gotta imagine that guy probably just bought his Atlanta and is now off to the forums to cry about how terrible that ship is, when you just clearly don't know how to use it. But I have a pathological hatred of Atlantas. It actually happens from when I got up-tiered, when I was playing down in tier 5. I lost my New York at one point to an Atlanta who was doing the smart thing, sitting behind an island and raining death on me. Oh, here's an Omaha. Ugh. Not enough of an angle to bounce, just enough of an angle to give me plenty of room to find a citadel. Oof. Sucks to be him. But yeah, my New York got shelled by an Atlanta at long range with nothing but high explosive. I couldn't stop him. I couldn't get behind cover. I couldn't shake him, and I couldn't get a shot at him. And the guy just killed me. Ugh, that's unfortunate. But, oh, here's a Mutsuki. Oh, the Iron Duke got that Omaha. Now, this Mutsuki is trying to run in here and get a torpedo spread off, which is... Well, the Scharnhorst is not the target you want to give for a torpedo spread, because the Scharnhorst is far more maneuverable than your average battleship. And, oh, look at that, 7 hits, and every single one of them is an overpenetration. Eesh. But yeah, the Scharnhorst is particularly maneuverable, especially since I've fitted the rudder module, so there's no chance he was ever going to get these torpedoes off. And exposed and not even dropping a smoke screen, he never had a prayer. And, yep, pretty sure that was my secondaries actually that got him. Anyways, so I'm on fire, but I also know that torpedoes are coming, and I let them go to the side. Oh, Alba got our Omaha. So, this is one of the downsides of having a lot of cover on a map. I don't really have the room to get the ship turned around the way I want to, so I'm just going to have to go behind this island. And in the process, get unspotted. There's the Alba that killed our unfortunate Omaha. Really like the Alba. Oh, there's an Nagato sailing broadside, although, honestly, my 11-inch guns at extreme range are not going to be very successful against a battleship's armor, and therefore just ignore it. Let it go unspotted. Get behind cover, make a decision on what I'm going to do now. But yeah, the Alba. The Alba is one of those ships that is just... what's the word I'm looking for? Dependably mundane. The Alba doesn't have any particularly amazing qualities. It's just a solid ship that does a very good job. I enjoyed my time that I spent in it. I always meant to do a review of it, but I don't think I ever got around to it. There's just not a lot to say about the Alba. It's a Japanese Tier 6 heavy cruiser with everything that entails, so... I mean, just from hearing that sentence alone, you know exactly what to expect out of the Alba, and the Alba delivers exactly that. And the Alba goes unspotted, of course. And the Nagato's out of range. Oh, who's this? The Emile Breton. This guy is maneuvering, and at this range, he is doing the smart thing. And honestly, if I had paid a little closer attention to what that guy was doing, I would have realized that he was about to, cut back to the left, and my shots were going to be wasted. But since I was behind an island, I didn't get spotted, and didn't really cost me anything. Well, the German people will have to pay the Reichsmarks for those shells. Oh, but there's the Alba, who goes unspotted. Oh, but the Emile Breton is back spotted again. So we're going to give him a little bit of lead. He's fading away from us, but again, that angle is not going to be enough to save him. He just does not have the kind of angle necessary to bounce these 11-inch shells. And just like that. Although, he also doesn't have enough armor to do much to slow down those 11-inch shells, so 3 of them went straight through him. Oh, and here comes our patriotic friend in the... Wait a minute, that's an Iron Duke. Wait a minute. And no, actually, if you're wondering, those guys were not in a division. We just got an Iron Duke and a Koenig, both wearing the same skin in the same match, and, well, what are you going to do? British battleship captain. I'm actually trying to slow down, and I'm trying to turn to get out of this guy's way, but he is just not paying the least bit of attention. And I can't help myself. Yeah, that was dangerous, stupid. I got away with it. Sort of. But I didn't even wind up accomplishing much hitting the Alba. And now the Iron Duke gets off some shots and actually has a lot better luck. But again, British battleship captain, if he had been firing armor piercing, he almost certainly would have finished that Alba off. But, you know, just hit one and let it ride, I guess, is what British battleship captains believe in. So the Iron Duke's getting out of the way, and I'm getting free to maneuver again. And that Alba dies. Our patriotic Koenig actually got him. So now we've got a Nagato who is just not interested at all in getting stuck in or being anything other than broadside. Nelson's off to the right, as well as most of the remaining enemy team. And that Nagato is even less interested in the fight than I thought he was. And again, another over-penetration. That's an 11-inch shell against a battleship. How does that over-penetrate? So, allowing for the snail's pace, the Nagato seems to be advancing. Take another couple of shots. And there is the New York, which, that one, if I ever do a review of it, it's going to be short, hate-filled, and unpleasant, because, well, actually, that describes the New York in a nutshell, doesn't it? Short, hate-filled, and extremely unpleasant. But here is our unfortunate friend in the Emile Breton, who is going to come out from behind this. Yep. Here we go. First three off from the rear turret. Still waiting for the front turret. I actually have, what is the word? Adrenaline rush. I have adrenaline rush on this captain, but I haven't taken enough damage for it to make any difference. But at this range, we managed to find the Citadel on that Emile Breton, and, well, you know, Tier 5 cruisers are not blessed with an overabundance of health. So, take another 2 over-penetrations, although honestly that first one looked like it hit high into the superstructure, so that's why I didn't get the kill. And then there we go, next one's, and again! But, well, 2 penetrations and secondary batteries finish him off. Now I've got that Nelson, and the Nelson has me largely broadside, which is unpleasant, as does the Nagato. And I'm on fire because, I mean, why would you fire armor piercing at a broadside Scharnhorst? I mean, silly people. And I'm presented with a very unhappy prospect. I've got a Nagato, a Nelson, and a New York, and the positioning of all three means somebody's getting a broadside. So right now, though, that Nagato seems to actually be moving forward for the first time, so I'm going to try to angle more towards the Nelson. Now, the Nelson, as you can see, is turning, and this surprised the heck out of me, because the Nelson is a lot like the Dunkirk. Just bow on. I mean, there's not really any reason for you to ever get into a maneuvering fight because you don't have a rear turret. The Nelson has everything front-loaded. And here he is, just giving me the entire broadside of his ship. And, oh! Triple Citadel. And just like that, the Nelson is evaporated. And I can't help but ask him, broadside? Really? And here's that New York giving me a broadside, which I'm also giving him a bit of a broadside. You know, hypocrites and all that. And, yeah, nothing, well, except for a Confederate award. That's not bad. And I'm actually up to 4 kills. The Emile Breton, the Nelson, the Mitsuki, and the... Did I get the kill on the Atlanta? Anyways, here's the Nagato, and here's where I'm going to start paying for it, because these two guys, there's nothing I can do. And this right here, that was a complete derp moment, because if I had paid attention, the New York was in the process of backing up. But the Nagato, who forever just does not believe in using his engines, is just sitting there against a Scharnhorst, a torpedo-armed battleship. Words fail me. They really do. And I get 3 torpedo hits, 2 floodings, and the high caliber, but I don't finish him off. I fire some more into the superstructure because at this point he's got too much angle on me to actually get a penetration of his belt, and I shoot the rear turret into his turret, hoping to damage one of them before he could hit me. My secondaries are lighting him up, and there we go, straight into the broadside. 5 kills. There's the Kraken. And taking a look at the battle results screen, that was 146,500 damage. A lot of that undoubtedly came from those 3 torpedo hits and the 3 citadels to that Nelson. I actually got 7 total citadels. I got a Confederate award, a high caliber award, the Kraken Unleashed, First Blood, and I believe that's a devastating strike. That was not a bad game, including 100 secondary battery hits. That is not bad. In terms of the team score, of course, top of the team with 5 kills. In fact, my entire team only got 8 kills, of which 5 were mine and over 2,000 base experience. And there we can see that Nagato actually wound up being my top kill of the game, mostly because of those 3 torpedo hits. The Nelson was another 28,000. That Emile Breton was another 20, and then various other people took some damage. And yeah, I managed to nail that Iron Duke. I probably, with the B turret, just slammed all 3 shells right into him. Thankfully, it looks like all 3 were over penetrations, because that's what I got for the most part in this match. Yep, there's the Iron Duke, who actually I did more damage to the Iron Duke trying to damage the Alba than I actually did to the Alba. Go me. All told, after everything came together, I made almost 300,000 credits off that and 4,500 XP with almost 900 free XP. Man, I love that ship. This has been Bogatir. I'll catch you next time.